All right, I'm Megan Fox. I write with pjmedia.com, and today we're going to do Miranda and Steve part 3 because And Just Like That was so bad. And what they did to Steve Brady was so awful that a bunch of us have decided we need to go back and look and see what happened. Did we miss something? Was the relationship always doomed? Or did they really work through a bunch of things and have a good relationship, which is what we thought until we watched And Just Like That. So I'm moving on to part 3. And their relationship really did go through a lot of stuff. So this is going to be multiple parts. It's not just going to end after part 3 because we still have to get through the entire season. I mean, the entire 6 seasons plus the movies to get to the bottom of what happened here. So this is part 3, and I've been promising it for a while. Hey, don't forget to check out the merch store, by the way, because I have some really fun new things in there that I think you guys would like. And in fact, I've got brand new stuff, and I would love for you to go and check it out in the merch store. See the link below. I've got the new bitch switch merch, which is a lot of fun, and that's based on that's based on my personality at work. When I get upset about something, when I get a bug under my bonnet, the bitch switch just kind of goes off, and I can't stop it until I get to the bottom of whatever it is that's bothering me. And so I thought it would be funny if I made if I made some stuff. So look how much new stuff is here. Look, I've got a new sticker. It says cancel everything and sue everyone. That's my motto. Sue everyone. I've got several of those stickers. I've got it's all fun and games until somebody flips the bitch switch. That comes in a crop sweatshirt as well. And a new wine cooler. And don't forget the And Just Like That wine coolers and mugs because those are fun too. All right, moving on. How do we get rid of this? There we go. Okay. When we left off, Miranda and Steve had just gotten back together. And now she comes home and she finds him in her house. And she's kind of put off by that. She wasn't expecting him to be there. And then he is there just watching a game. And she takes over the remote and says, this is my remote. It's my house. So she's kind of territorial. And Steve is his usual jovial self. And he teases her into being happy that he's there. Well, in the morning, or maybe it's in the middle of the night, she wakes him up and pushes him off of her and starts getting all upset about how he is invading her space. And Miranda just can't be happy. She just can't. She was complaining before when she didn't have a boyfriend, and now that she does have one, all she can see are Steve's faults. And that pile of clothes on the floor is really bothering her. And she's like, can you get your clothes picked up and put somewhere? And he says, well, you won't even give me a drawer. So what I really want to do is move in. And of course, that sets her off completely. She doesn't want to move in. She likes her space. She doesn't want him there. And she makes that really clear. And she makes him angry. And he's leaving. And he says something to her. He says, sometimes you're the guy, which is an interesting thing because I know Mr. Fox and I have this conversation a lot that stereotypes about men and women are rarely always true. And we never laugh at comics who tell jokes about men and women because we're exactly the opposite. Like all the jokes about men a lot of them could be geared towards me, and a lot of the jokes about women could be geared towards him. We're just not stereotypical at all. And I think that that's okay. And I think that it's great to recognize that everybody's different. And Miranda she does have some more male qualities. That kind of goes to what we've been talking about, though, about these gender stereotypes, and it leads down some really dangerous paths. Like, for instance, expecting women to all act the same, or girls or boys girls to act one way and boys to act another way, is really setting up children for confusion, because all people have male and female energy. And some women express that in different ways. And that's why, it's okay for girls to have short hair, and long hair is not feminine. That's not what long hair is. That doesn't make you a woman. Putting on a wig doesn't make you a woman. And being sensitive is not just a quality for a woman. A man can be sensitive too. And just being in touch with your feminine side, or your male as a man, or your male side as a woman, does not mean you're trans. Like, that's something that I have always loved about Miranda, was that she was not stereotypical. as a woman. She expressed very, aggressive she has an aggressive personality like someone we know. I also have an aggressive personality that it could be considered more male, right? More of a male characteristic. Um, but that doesn't make me any less of a woman. Women come in all different types and all different personalities and have all different strengths. And I think that's what people really loved about Miranda Hobbs. And that's one of the things that really bothered people in And Just Like That is that they kind of they erased who Miranda was, and because she had those qualities that were not stereotypical, the explanation that they ended up foisting on us is that, "Oh, well, she's really a lesbian. Oh, she's really attracted to a non-binary person." When no, you know how many masculine women who were more masculine, who embraced their more masculine side, loved Miranda Hobbs? Because she gave them someone to look to who was like them. And Just Like That just went and ruined it. They just went and ruined it because there are straight women everywhere who are like Miranda, who are more aggressive, who are more in touch with their, male side. And now they're all being told through And Just Like That that there's something wrong with them. They're not really straight. You know, they can't really love men if they have this male energy, which is totally, totally wrong. Okay? Completely wrong, totally stereotypes, and I got off on a tangent here, but let's keep going. So Steve leaves and he accuses her of being more like a man. And that is a difficult dynamic between men and women. Steve kind of is more like a woman. And that's okay though. It's not that he is female or he's feminine in any way. It's just that he wants things that a lot of a stereotyped woman might want. Like for instance, later in the episode, he's going to start whining about a baby, which is so weird. But still, I mean, so these 2 but the thing is that opposites attract. So if you find yourself that, if a woman with more masculine energy is attracted to a man with more feminine energy, that is pretty typical. Um, and at the same time, Mr. Fox is not feminine at all. He's like super, super manly. He's like very masculine, but he's very sensitive, very kind, very sweet, very quiet. It's those types of things that is the opposite of me. But he can hunt and shoot and do all those things that men do and build stuff and work on cars but his personality, is much softer than me. I'm a hard ass. Not that he can't be a hard ass when he wants to be, because he certainly can. But I think what's funny here is that, Miranda goes to this class. There's like a belly dancing class so she can get in touch with her feminine side, that she's trying to find the goddess within, and it's just a hilarious scene. So funny because all these women are moving and Miranda can't unlock her hips really. She's just very stiff and boyish. And I think the character of Miranda really made a lot of women feel good to see somebody like them, somebody who's maybe kind of not coordinated and awkward and has trouble getting in touch with the ultra feminine, And this is such a good scene. I miss this. I miss TV doing things like this where it would show a woman who likes to have short hair and it has an aggressive bulldog personality who is not a butch lesbian. She's a straight female. And we don't have enough of these characters right now. We really don't. And then they just went and ruined Miranda Hobbs for all of the women who are like Miranda, and that's really too bad. I'm not really a Miranda like my attitude is sometimes. But I don't have any problem getting in touch with that side. I would have loved that class. I would have been wiggling around like crazy. That class looked like fun. But then again, I was a dancer too, so that's probably why. Because dancing is something your body just remembers. All right, so Miranda's walking with Carrie, and she's telling her that, yeah, I know, I complain when I have a boyfriend, I complain when I don't have a boyfriend, I don't know what's wrong with me, and she's feeling guilty. She's feeling guilty that she kicked Steve out over him wanting more of a relationship, and she seems to want to try, and she's gonna try and as she gets home, she realizes she misses Steve. the house is empty without him. So she invites him over and she's going to cook him a meal. So here she is again, trying to get in touch with her feminine self, right? She's going to cook a home cooked meal and be domestic, and try. And I really think that this scene is one of the greatest scenes that Cynthia Nixon ever did. And we don't give her enough credit in And Just Like That because her acting is frankly terrible. But back in Sex and the City, she was terrific. She was really, really good. And her acting was great. So I don't really know what happened between Sex and the City and Just Like That. But I never had criticism about Cynthia Nixon's acting until And Just Like That. In this scene, her anxiety level is so palpable, and I think there are real tears in her eyes. She had a tough time at the store, then she comes home and the spaghetti sauce breaks all over the floor, and she just breaks down and she tells him, "I make mistakes, and things about me are gross and bad, and you're going to see all that, and I'm very nervous about it, and I feel like you're not going to like me anymore." And at one point she says, "My sponges smell bad." Everybody has those things they're embarrassed about. And like this was such a great scene. She nails it. She absolutely nails it. The how she's feeling so anxious about all of this. And Steve, God bless him, he's always the sweetest, right? Making her feel better. He's like, "It's okay, we'll order out. Like we'll just," he never gets upset about anything. He is her total opposite, which is exactly what Miranda needs. So at some point the writers, they were actually writing a guy that would complement Miranda perfectly. And then they just took him away from her and from us for no reason. And it's just shitty because here he is. He's the only one who knows how to talk Miranda down off the ledge. And he does it here beautifully. And it was just a really nice scene. So I took this screenshot because I really liked Miranda's hair and how they did it here. It's kind of growing out from that real short pixie, and they have like a volume in the back, and it's real pretty. And I like the color. I like everything about it. They did her makeup really well back then. Like they weren't doing the scary eye makeup. And I took this picture of Sam because I just miss her. And I like I like watching her on the screen. So Miranda comes home. Steve is all excited. He is going to get to be doing a half court shot at the Knicks game. And of course, he's a huge Knicks fan. He's such a geek about sports. And he is so excited. He has a chance to win $1 million. And of course, Miranda can't just be excited for him. She has to try and throw cold water on his dreams. And she's being very like, "Okay, yeah, you're not going to win $1 million." And she's basically just trying to keep him from getting excited. And he says, "No, no, I can do this. You should come and see me at the park." So then she goes and she sees Carrie, and she basically tells Carrie she doesn't believe Steve will ever win $1 million, and she thinks he's delusional. And she doesn't even really think about him very often. She kind of comes out that Carrie's talking about love, and the way that Miranda's answering is basically like she's not in love. And then she's like, "Oh yeah, right, my boyfriend." Like she just totally forgot him. So, I don't know how invested she is. She's always 1 foot in, 1 foot out. And Steve's all in, and that makes it so much sadder because she's still like that, obviously. So, it's time for her to go and watch him at the park like she promised, and she's too busy. She's working on a legal brief. She's like, "No, I'm not going to the park with you to watch you shoot hoops." And he loses it, finally. And I'm so proud of Steve for losing it on her to be like, "I never ask you for anything. I ask you for this one thing and you can't even come. You know how many lawyers bullshit things I go to with you? Like, this is important to me. So why don't you just show up?" And it was good that he did that because, you can't let an aggressive person step all over you. And if someone who's more aggressive than you, if you let them, they will step all over you until you say no. So anyway, she feels bad. She comes down. He's all excited. He's so cute on the basketball court, shooting his half court shots. And she's finally being supportive. Like it doesn't matter what his stupid dream is, Miranda. Just do it, just just be there. Just be there to support your boyfriend. He's always so supportive to her. But it's like pulling teeth to get her to be supportive with him. The pictures are blurry too, because by the way, HBO is doing something where so I used to be able to pull up HBO Max on my laptop and then take screenshots as I was watching it because they won't let us use the movie. Like even if the sound is down, it can't be moving or you get a copyright. All of a sudden, I pull up the app today and I start trying to take screenshots and they're all black. So they've done something now to keep people from even taking screenshots, which is really, it's myopic. There's all kinds of YouTubers out there doing television reviews, and it gets people to watch the shows. We're not taking away any viewership from them. They should really stop doing this. So I had to screw around for like an hour trying to figure out how to get these screenshots, but I figured it out. And I'm not going to tell them how, but I did. But I don't know why they're being so stingy like that. HBO should stop that immediately. Netflix does it too, and it just drives me crazy. All right, so I took that screenshot because I'm just liking the way Miranda's hair is growing out. And they start talking about, in this episode, this poor Steve. So Miranda has to tell Steve that she has chlamydia. She doesn't know if she got it from him or from somebody else, but he has to go to the clinic. And the thing that this kind of reminded me of is that Miranda always does. One of the good things about her and Steve is that she takes care of him when it comes to like doctors and things that he just can't follow up with. So she gives him the recommendation of where to go. She makes sure that he does go. And that's something that, sometimes men need that extra push, to get to the doctor. And Miranda always does that for him. And he's so horrified because this doctor has to stick a Q-tip in, where you don't want a Q-tip stuck in his face. So, I mean, she's making this big list of guys because she has to call everyone and alert them that she has chlamydia and she doesn't know how long she's had it and maybe they had it. And so she and Steve are going through, this episode was called Are We Sluts? And she's talking to Steve and she's really down about herself because she had to make this list and she's feeling like she had far too many partners and it's bothering her. And she's walking around talking about herself like she's like, I'm a big, huge slut and I'm just a terrible person. And he's so cute. He's like, don't talk about my girlfriend like that. No, no, no. And he's always right there to cheer her up. He's just always there with positivity and cheerfulness. Whenever Miranda's down, Steve always knows what to say. And she just doesn't appreciate it. She just really doesn't. And I thought this was funny. He is sitting there reading a book that's called Aquarium. It's a book about aquariums for fish owners. Is there an aquarium in this house? Or is Steve just looking for is he deciding to get an aquarium? I don't know, but I just thought it was funny that that's what the book is. It's an aquarium book. So they're basically talking about Steve's partners, and she thinks that she guessed way low, and he's like, I'm a cute bartender. Of course, it's a high number, but he won't tell her what it is. So then in the next episode, Miranda's talking to the girls about how she's reached a new level of intimacy with Steve, and she loves doing his laundry, and that's like the highlight of her Saturday is doing Steve's laundry, and it makes her really happy. Until she's in the laundry and she discovers dirty laundry in the dirty laundry, which I don't understand. But she's all grossed out because there's skid marks on some of Steve's underwear. So she's panicking about that. She, of course, has to go and tell Carrie about it, who gets all grossed out too. But it's like, it's dirty laundry. What did you expect to be in there? And I don't know. It's just a silly thing. But again, Steve makes her laugh about everything. And, he ends up just being super cute. And she was telling Carrie that she thinks, how do I know I haven't fallen into a rut? Maybe this intimacy thing, it's not really intimacy, it's a rut. She's always looking for an excuse not to be happy. Always. But Steve is always cajoling her out of it, and he's always very successful. So to us, they look really happy. But they're setting it up to happen is just insane. So they're in this restaurant, and this is where I take a lot of, I didn't like this storyline. So to me, it seemed like the writers just had to find a reason to break these two up. And they had to blame it on Steve for some reason, which I don't think was necessary. There were plenty of reasons for them to break up, and they were pretty much all about Miranda. But instead, they're sitting in this restaurant having noodles, and there's a crying baby, and Miranda is doing her usual bitchy thing about babies in restaurants, like they shouldn't be allowed in restaurants. And Steve is acting like a baby. He's dropping soup all over himself. He's saying, "Oh, I like babies. I want a baby," but he's like dropping food everywhere. And all of a sudden, he's telling her he wants a baby. "Oh, we should have one," just like it's something you pick up at the store. "Let's get a baby." I mean, it's insane. I've never heard a man men don't talk like this. Not even men who are in touch with their feminine side. Straight men don't talk like this. This would never have happened. It's so unrealistic. No man dating a woman, like, just moved in. Yeah, no, they're not he's not gonna ask her for a baby, and it's so dumb. Steve's like, "Yeah, well, I'd sit around and watch cartoons with him all day. I'd like to stay home with a baby." Like, it's totally ridiculous, but that's what they're setting up for them to break up. I mean, to me, I didn't think it was I didn't think it was true to Steve's character. I thought it was pretty unrealistic. This next scene, I took a bunch of screenshots of because this is a classic Sex and the City scene where they're all four of them in the bathroom and their reflections are in the mirror. And I just thought it was really good camera work. It's very indicative of how women are. Women do go to the bathroom together. We have lots of conversations in there. We are doing all of these things that they're doing, putting on makeup, fixing our hair, chatting about whatever. We never go to the bathroom alone. I love that Sam, when she's not talking, oh, Kim Cattrall is so great. She's like pulling her face back, like to see what she looks like without wrinkles. And she's having a midlife crisis because she thinks she's perimenopausal. And there's just so much going on in this scene that is so great. It's worth the rewatch because it really reminds me of a really well choreographed, blocked scene in a play. This would be, I mean, just where everyone is moving and what they're doing and saying at the same time. Sometimes one of them goes in a stall and then comes out, and then, this one is putting on makeup and that one is doing her hair. Plus, they have the dialogue going at the same time. It's truly an awesome scene. It's just one of these great moments of the show. And they all look pretty, and it's just a great and funny scene, which you should go back and watch. So Miranda is at home. Steve, again, is acting like a baby. He's watching Scooby-Doo really loud while she's trying to work, which is just, and she says, "Would you turn it down?" And he doesn't. And he's like, "You're going to need to get used to a loud house when there's a baby around," when she's already said she doesn't want a baby. She's already told him, "I'm not gonna have a baby with you. We're not having a baby. Who's gonna raise the baby while I'm out working all the time? No, you? No, you're not. You're like a big kid." And this big kid narrative just kind of happened in this episode. And Steve never acted like this before. He never acted like an irresponsible child. But now they have him watching cartoons and just being completely unrealistic. And of course, so she wants to talk to him, but he won't even turn off the cartoon, which doesn't make any sense. And he's goofing about Scooby-Doo. "It's the one with the ghost. It's a good one with the ghost." I mean, it's insane. And this is how they break up because Steve is insisting, or well, they're leading to it. He still is insisting he wants a baby. And she keeps saying, I need you to shelve this. I don't want to talk about a baby anymore. So he says, okay. So she's telling Carrie on the street. And for some reason, they've got Miranda in a men's suit. I mean, I know it's cut for women, but it's very manly. And I don't know. I don't love it, but I do love her makeup and her hair in this scene. I don't love the suit though. I think they do too. They're always trying to make her look more masculine than she is. Like, we get the point. We know that what her personality is like. You don't also have to dress her in a men's suit. Although I do like the crisp white and the gray. I think that looks good on her. And I think that the makeup is in this scene is amazing. She looks really pretty, and it just goes to show Cynthia Nixon can look great when they do her upright. And I don't know why they made her look so awful and just like that. And no, it's not because she got older. It's the makeup choice and the heavy dark stuff on the eyes and that awful wig. I mean, she just looks great here. So she's telling Carrie about this baby idea and how much she hates it. Look how pretty she looks. Just amazing. Great haircut, great eye makeup. Like, just looks terrific. So then Steve calls her and he's at the pet store and he is just determined to screw up this relationship, which again is not really a Steve thing to do. So it's like the writers were desperate to have a reason to break these two up because they were too cute and they were having too much fun and they were being, they were too much in love. And so it can't work, right? So he's talking her into buying a puppy. And she says, well, who's going to take care of the puppy? Oh, I will, he says. Yeah, sure. We all know where this is going. And sure enough, so she says, okay, she gives in because she feels like she's been mean mommy with the other thing, the baby. And now the puppy is crying all night because that's what puppies do. And Steve isn't waking up. So, of course, Miranda is waking him up to yell at him in the middle of the night, which is something she likes to do, to tell him that you're not taking care of this puppy and this relationship isn't working. And she says these things about how she's been trying for a long time not to give up on them. And I don't really buy it because these last two parts that I just did of their relationship shows that they had a really sweet relationship. And so the writers are just kind of reaching here, I think, for a reason to break these two up because there really wasn't one. And so that's the end of part 3. And I'll be back at some point with part 4. Work's been getting pretty busy. So these videos may be a little farther apart depending, but I hope you enjoyed it and let me know in the comments below if you think that breakup was kind of forced by the writing. I think it was forced. I didn't see it. It didn't make sense to me. Who they turned Steve into in that last episode is just somebody I don't even recognize. I don't know who that is. All right, everybody. Don't forget to check out the merch store and like and subscribe if you haven't done so already and hit that bell so that you get notified. Take care, everybody.